What if the very stones beneath our feet hold secrets to the stars? We are often taught that ancient civilizations, particularly those in the Americas, were primitive, isolated, and guided by simple beliefs. Yet across vast, dramatic landscapes, there stand monumental structures that defy such easy categorization. These are the pyramids of the ancient Americas, towering testaments carved from the earth itself, speaking a language we are only now beginning to understand. From the dense, emerald jungles of the Maya heartland to the arid plateaus where Teotihuacan once thrived, an enduring mystery permeates the air.
Who were these people who moved mountains of stone, shaping them into forms that pierce the heavens?
How did societies without metal tools, without the wheel, raise such immense architectural wonders? The scale alone is staggering. Imagine cities like Tikal, where limestone temples rise above the rainforest canopy, their peaks reaching for celestial deities. Or the powerful Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, a metropolis built on an island, dominated by the Templo Maya, a dual pyramid dedicated to the rain god Tlaloc and the war god Huitzilopochtli. And then there is Teotihuacan, the enigmatic city of the gods, with its colossal pyramids of the sun and moon, structures so immense they rival Egypt's greatest achievements. For generations, our understanding of these cultures has been constrained by a narrow lens. We saw intricate carvings and vibrant frescoes, but often dismissed them as mere artistic expressions or religious devotion, a beautiful but unsophisticated reflection of a nascent world. We recognized their calendars as complex, but sometimes underestimated the sheer scientific rigor behind them. The builders of these ancient cities were often portrayed as laborers of immense faith, driven by ritual, but perhaps lacking in what we now call scientific knowledge. This perspective suggests that human ingenuity unfolds in a neat, linear progression, with our modern era as the undeniable peak. But when we look closer, when we allow the stones themselves to speak, a different picture emerges, one that challenges our comfortable assumptions about ancient capabilities. The central premise of this journey is unsettling in its implications. These American pyramids were not merely tombs for kings or temples for worship, though they served those purposes. They were, at their very core, sophisticated cosmic observatories. They were instruments meticulously crafted to track the movements of the sun, the moon, the planets, and the stars. Imagine structures designed not just to house rituals, but to embody the very fabric of the cosmos, to predict celestial events with astonishing accuracy, and to encode an understanding of the universe far beyond what we typically attribute to civilizations thousands of years removed from our own. Consider an initial glimpse into this deliberate placement. At Chichen Itza, the Kukulkan temple, often known as El Castillo, is more than a monumental staircase. Twice a year, precisely on the spring and autumn equinoxes, the setting sun casts a shadow that undulates down the northern staircase, creating the illusion of a giant serpent, the feathered serpent deity Kukulkan, descending from the heavens to bless the earth. This is not a happy accident. It is a profound act of architectural engineering and astronomical precision, a deliberate marriage of stone and sky. Elsewhere, at Teotihuacan, the entire city plan appears to be a gigantic terrestrial mirror of the heavens. The pyramid of the sun, rising majestically from the central axis, is oriented to capture the summer solstice sunrise and the winter solstice sunset, its base aligned with astonishing accuracy to specific points on the celestial horizon. These are not isolated instances. From the Uaxactun Observatory, where 3 small temples align with the solstices and equinoxes, to the precise orientation of temples at Monte Alban and Zibilchaltun that mark specific celestial events, the evidence is scattered yet consistent. Pyramids across the Americas, built by diverse cultures over millennia, share this uncanny relationship with the celestial sphere. They are not random piles of stone. They are carefully calculated monuments, their angles, platforms, and staircases acting as giant gnomons and sightlines, charting the rhythms of the cosmos. The builders understood cardinal directions, the subtle shifts of the sun's path throughout the year, the complex cycles of the moon, and the wanderings of planets like Venus. They built this knowledge into the very foundations of their world. This profound understanding poses a fundamental question that reverberates across centuries. How did these ancient cultures achieve such advanced astronomical mastery? Was it through generations of patient, painstaking observation passed down through an unbroken lineage of priest astronomers? Did they possess observational techniques or mathematical principles that remain largely unknown to us? And perhaps even more compellingly, what was the profound purpose behind this relentless pursuit of celestial knowledge? Was it purely for agricultural planning, to know when to plant and when to harvest? Was it deeply embedded in their spiritual beliefs, a way to commune with deities or predict the fate of their empires? Or was it something else entirely? A lost science, a forgotten wisdom that linked their terrestrial existence directly to the cosmic dance above. The monumental scale of their cities, the enduring mystery of their abandonment, and the initial glimpses of their astronomical precision challenge us to look beyond simplistic narratives. They ask us to consider that the ancients of the Americas were not simply builders of grand structures, but architects of time and space, leaving behind a legacy etched in stone and sky, waiting for us to fully decode its message. The answers, buried beneath layers of earth and time, or hidden in plain sight within the very fabric of their constructions, demand a deeper inquiry into the extraordinary capabilities of minds that saw the universe reflected in every stone. What if the very stones beneath our feet hold secrets to the stars? We are often taught that ancient civilizations, particularly those in the Americas, were primitive, isolated, and guided by simple beliefs. Yet across vast, dramatic landscapes, there stand monumental structures that defy such easy categorization. These are the pyramids of the ancient Americas, towering testaments carved from the earth itself, speaking a language we are only now beginning to understand. From the dense, emerald jungles of the Maya heartland to the arid plateaus where Teotihuacan once thrived, an enduring mystery permeates the air.
Who were these people who moved mountains of stone, shaping them into forms that pierce the heavens?
How did societies without metal tools, without the wheel, raise such immense architectural wonders? The scale alone is staggering. Imagine cities like Tikal, where limestone temples rise above the rainforest canopy, their peaks reaching for celestial deities, or the powerful Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, a metropolis built on an island dominated by the Templo Maya, a dual pyramid dedicated to the rain god Tlaloc and the war god Huitzilopochtli. And then there is Teotihuacan, the enigmatic city of the gods, with its colossal pyramids of the sun and moon, structures so immense they rival Egypt's greatest achievements. For generations, our understanding of these cultures has been constrained by a narrow lens. We saw intricate carvings and vibrant frescoes, but often dismissed them as mere artistic expressions or religious devotion, a beautiful but unsophisticated reflection of a nascent world. We recognized their calendars as complex, but sometimes underestimated the sheer scientific rigor behind them. The builders of these ancient cities were often portrayed as laborers of immense faith, driven by ritual, but perhaps lacking in what we now call scientific knowledge. This perspective suggests that human ingenuity unfolds in a neat, linear progression, with our modern era as the undeniable peak. But when we look closer, when we allow the stones themselves to speak, a different picture emerges, one that challenges our comfortable assumptions about ancient capabilities. The central premise of this journey is unsettling in its implications. These American pyramids were not merely tombs for kings or temples for worship, though they served those purposes. They were, at their very core, sophisticated cosmic observatories. They were instruments meticulously crafted to track the movements of the sun, the moon, the planets, and the stars. Imagine structures designed not just to house rituals, but to embody the very fabric of the cosmos, to predict celestial events with astonishing accuracy, and to encode an understanding of the universe far beyond what we typically attribute to civilizations thousands of years removed from our own. Consider an initial glimpse into this deliberate placement. At Chichen Itza, the Kukulkan temple, often known as El Castillo, is more than a monumental staircase. Twice a year, precisely on the spring and autumn equinoxes, the setting sun casts a shadow that undulates down the northern staircase, creating the illusion of a giant serpent, the feathered serpent deity Kukulkan, descending from the heavens to bless the earth. This is not a happy accident. It is a profound act of architectural engineering and astronomical precision, a deliberate marriage of stone and sky. Elsewhere, at Teotihuacan, the entire city plan appears to be a gigantic terrestrial mirror of the heavens. The pyramid of the sun, rising majestically from the central axis, is oriented to capture the summer solstice sunrise and the winter solstice sunset, its base aligned with astonishing accuracy to specific points on the celestial horizon. These are not isolated instances. From the Uaxactun Observatory, where 3 small temples align with the solstices and equinoxes, to the precise orientation of temples at Monte Alban and Zibilchaltun that mark specific celestial events, the evidence is scattered yet consistent. Pyramids across the Americas, built by diverse cultures over millennia, share this uncanny relationship with the celestial sphere. They are not random piles of stone. They are carefully calculated monuments, their angles, platforms, and staircases acting as giant gnomons and sightlines, charting the rhythms of the cosmos. The builders understood cardinal directions, the subtle shifts of the sun's path throughout the year, the complex cycles of the moon, and the wanderings of planets like Venus. They built this knowledge into the very foundations of their world. This profound understanding poses a fundamental question that reverberates across centuries. How did these ancient cultures achieve such advanced astronomical mastery? Was it through generations of patient, painstaking observation, passed down through an unbroken lineage of priest astronomers? Did they possess observational techniques or mathematical principles that remain largely unknown to us? And perhaps even more compellingly, what was the profound purpose behind this relentless pursuit of celestial knowledge? Was it purely for agricultural planning to know when to plant and when to harvest? Was it deeply embedded in their spiritual beliefs, a way to commune with deities or predict the fate of their empires? Or was it something else entirely? A lost science, a forgotten wisdom that linked their terrestrial existence directly to the cosmic dance above. The monumental scale of their cities, the enduring mystery of their abandonment, and the initial glimpses of their astronomical precision challenge us to look beyond simplistic narratives. They ask us to consider that the ancients of the Americas were not simply builders of grand structures, but architects of time and space, leaving behind a legacy etched in stone and sky, waiting for us to fully decode its message. The answers, buried beneath layers of earth and time, or hidden in plain sight within the very fabric of their constructions, demand a deeper inquiry into the extraordinary capabilities of minds that saw the universe reflected in every stone. The stones speak to us across millennia, not in words, but in patterns of light and shadow, in precise angles that capture the turning of the celestial sphere. What first appear as monumental tombs or grand ceremonial stages reveal themselves upon closer inspection as far more. They are blueprints of the cosmos etched into the very fabric of the earth, each structure a testament to an astronomical understanding that still humbles our modern gaze. Consider the temple of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza,
a marvel that appears to breathe with the rhythm of the sun.
For much of the year, its stairways cast simple, angular shadows. But on the spring and autumn equinoxes, something extraordinary occurs. As the sun descends, triangular patterns of light and shadow snake down the northern balustrade, creating the vivid illusion of a feathered serpent, Kukulkan himself descending from the heavens to greet the earth. This phenomenon is not accidental. It is the result of deliberate architectural genius, a perfect alignment between structure, sun, and season, meticulously calculated and executed. This dramatic visual event, played out twice a year, transformed the temple into a living calendar, a sacred clock marking the precise balance between day and night. It was a moment of profound spiritual significance, a cosmic affirmation woven into the very stone. The meticulousness extends far beyond a single annual spectacle. At Teotihuacan, the vast city of the gods, the entire urban layout seems to echo a celestial order. Its colossal pyramid of the sun stands as a sentinel, oriented with an astonishing precision just slightly north of due west. This alignment captures the setting sun on specific days of the year, marking significant agricultural or ceremonial periods, perhaps even the solstices. But the pyramid of the sun is not isolated. It is part of a larger interconnected system. Its axial alignment, running along the Avenue of the Dead, suggests a deliberate mirroring of the heavens, where terrestrial architecture reflects cosmic geometry. The city itself, laid out with an almost obsessive geometric precision, becomes a map of the sky, its avenues and pyramids acting as fixed sight lines, permanently inscribed observational instruments. Yet, their celestial architectures were not solely focused on the sun's grand procession. The moon, with its more complex and subtle cycles, also held a profound place in their observations, tracking the moon's waxing and waning, its shifting paths across the sky, and its intricate phases demanded an even greater level of sustained, systematic observation. At Chichen Itza, the caracol, or snail, stands as a unique testament to this lunar preoccupation. Its distinctive circular tower, crowned by a dome, features precisely placed windows that align with key points in the moon's journey, particularly its extreme northern and southern standstills. These standstills, where the moon reaches its highest or lowest point in the sky over an 18.6-year cycle, are difficult to pinpoint without generations of careful charting. The caracol's design, with its multiple observation apertures, suggests it was a dedicated lunar observatory, a sophisticated instrument built to unravel the complexities of the night sky's second most luminous body. Beyond the sun and moon, one celestial body held a particularly potent and often ominous significance for Mesoamerican cultures: the planet Venus. Its appearances and disappearances in the morning and evening skies were not merely observed. They were woven into the very fabric of their calendar systems, their warfare, and their spiritual beliefs. Venus, as both the morning star and the evening star, embodied duality, often linked to the feathered serpent deity Kukulkan Quetzalcoatl, its 584-day synodic cycle, which determines its visibility from Earth, was meticulously tracked, its precise heliacal rise and set, its first and last appearance before or after the sun, carrying immense astrological and prophetic weight. This intricate cycle was integrated into the Mayan calendar systems, influencing the timing of battles, royal successions, and sacred rituals. Architectural alignments at sites like Xochicalco and specific openings in temples across Mesoamerica are believed to have been designed to precisely capture Venus at its most significant moments, making the structures themselves active participants in the celestial drama. And further still, into the deep reaches of the cosmos, the ancient astronomers turned their gaze toward star clusters. The Pleiades, a shimmering constellation of 7 sisters, held a special place in the cosmologies of many ancient American peoples. Its heliacal rise, its first appearance in the dawn sky after a period of invisibility, often coincided with the beginning of the agricultural cycle or the new fire ceremony, marking a profound cosmic renewal. At Teotihuacan, beyond its solar and lunar alignments, some researchers suggest that the city's precise axial orientation may also have been influenced by the Pleiades. Its layout, almost perfectly aligned along a main axis, seems to direct sight lines towards the point on the horizon where the Pleiades would have risen at a significant moment in the city's history, perhaps marking its founding or a critical ceremonial date. This deep integration of stellar observations into city planning transforms Teotihuacan from a mere settlement into a sacred landscape, a terrestrial reflection of the starry expanse. The precision evident in these celestial alignments speaks to an astonishing mastery of mathematics and advanced geometry. These were not random placements but carefully calculated designs, embedded within the very proportions of the pyramids themselves. The number of steps on a pyramid might correspond to days in a calendar cycle. The angles of its slopes might reflect astronomical sight lines, recurring units of measurement often tied to specific lengths of time or celestial distances can be found throughout these structures. At sites like El Mirador, the scale of construction implies not just immense labor, but an intricate knowledge of engineering and layout. The precise measurement required to orient a massive structure towards a specific celestial event, knowing that even a slight deviation would render the alignment useless, points to a sophisticated understanding of spatial relationships and numerical principles that challenges our conventional narratives of early American societies. These geometric and mathematical blueprints were not mere aesthetic choices. They were the essential framework for unlocking the secrets of the sky, allowing these ancient civilizations to embody cosmic order in their earthly creations. To achieve such exactitude, ancient astronomers employed advanced observational techniques, transforming their monumental structures into sophisticated instruments. Fixed sight lines were paramount. By carefully positioning one structure relative to another, or by designing specific openings, doorways, or pillars, they created permanent observatories that could track celestial bodies over generations. Imagine standing at the base of a great pyramid, gazing through a precisely cut aperture to see a specific star or planet appear directly in line with a distant peak on a particular night. This was not left to chance. Gnomons, simple shadow-casting devices, would have been used to track the sun's daily and annual movement, providing the raw data for calibrating these monumental constructions. The consistent length of a shadow at noon on the solstice, or the exact path it traced across a plaza, could inform the precise angle required for a temple wall or the orientation of an entire city. These were not just passive observations. They were active engagements with the cosmos, where the landscape itself became the laboratory, and the pyramids were the grandest of telescopes, designed to capture and amplify the subtle whispers of the stars. The depth of this astronomical knowledge, intricately woven into their grandest architectural achievements, unveils a world where the heavens were not distant or abstract, but an immediate and powerful force, guiding every aspect of life. These structures, aligned to the Sun, the Moon, Venus, and the Pleiades, are more than monuments. They are profound statements of connection, a silent assertion that the cycles of the cosmos were indelibly linked to the cycles of human existence. They stand as enduring testaments to a time when humanity looked up, truly listened, and meticulously inscribed the rhythms of the universe into the very stone beneath their feet. As the intricate celestial blueprints of ancient American pyramids reveal themselves, showing an undeniable precision in their alignments, a deeper revelation unfolds. The exactitudes etched in stone were not born from cold scientific curiosity alone. They were the tangible manifestations of a profound intertwining, a cosmic understanding interwoven with the very fabric of religious rituals, spiritual beliefs, and the entire structure of society itself. For these ancient cultures, the heavens were not a distant, indifferent void, but a living, breathing realm of divine power that actively shaped earthly existence. Every rising and setting, every planetary dance, every distant flicker of a star was perceived as a direct communication from the gods, carrying messages that dictated fate, offered guidance, and demanded reverence. The monumental architecture we have explored earlier, the carefully oriented plazas, the precisely engineered structures, were not merely observatories. They were consecrated spaces designed to engage directly with the divine will believed to reside in the celestial sphere. To understand the cosmos was, for these civilizations, to understand the gods themselves, and to align their cities with the heavens was to bring earthly order into harmony with divine order, ensuring the prosperity and very survival of their people. This was a knowledge that transcended mere utility. It was the sacred science that underpinned their entire worldview, where every significant act, from the crowning of a king to the planting of a seed, drew its authority and its meaning from the unfathomable depths of the cosmos. Nowhere is this profound connection more evident than in the sophisticated calendrical systems developed by the Maya. More than simple timekeeping devices, the long count and the harb calendars were complex reflections of cosmic order, imbued with immense predictive power and spiritual significance. The long count, with its vast sweep of time, mapped out grand cosmic eras, each measured in millions of days, charting the flow of creation and destruction, a testament to an understanding of periodicity on a scale that humbles modern minds. It was not merely a linear progression of days, but a deep, cyclical recounting of universal rhythms, reflecting a world perpetually in motion, born and reborn in grand cosmic dances. The harb calendar, meanwhile, with its 365 days, mirrored the earthly cycle, guiding the agricultural year and the timing of human events. These calendars, when read together and cross-referenced with other cycles like the 260-day Tzolk'in, formed a dense, multi-layered tapestry of time, each thread interwoven with celestial events. The Maya believed these calendars held the keys to understanding fate, predicting auspicious and inauspicious days, and even forecasting the rise and fall of civilizations. They were living, breathing entities, carefully maintained and consulted by astronomer priests whose very role was to interpret the will of the heavens. To disregard the calendar was to court cosmic chaos, to invite imbalance into a world designed for harmony. The pyramids, with their precise astronomical alignments, were the physical anchors for these calendrical systems, acting as giant gnomons and markers to calibrate and validate the passage of time. They were the constant reminders of humanity's place within a vast, ordered universe, a universe whose rhythms were not to be merely observed, but deeply understood and honored. The critical role of these celestial cycles extended far beyond abstract philosophical contemplation. It directly determined the very rhythm of daily life, particularly agricultural planting, harvesting, and the timing of ceremonial events. For societies dependent on the bounty of the earth, understanding the seasons was paramount. The sun's precise movements, meticulously tracked through architectural alignments like those we've previously seen, provided the essential cues for when to prepare the soil, when to sow the seeds, and when to bring in the harvest. A miscalculation could mean famine, a devastating blow to an entire community. The sky was the ultimate almanac, its predictable cycles offering the promise of sustenance and survival. Beyond agriculture, the celestial clock governed the elaborate ceremonial life that defined these cultures. Major rituals, sacrifices, and political events were often timed to coincide with significant astronomical phenomena. Solstices, equinoxes, planetary conjunctions, or the zenith passage of the sun. These were not arbitrary dates, but moments of heightened cosmic energy, believed to open conduits between the human and divine realms, making offerings more potent and prayers more effective. The calendar round was a sacred path, guiding individuals and communities through a year steeped in cosmic significance. The astronomer priests, through their diligent observations and the sophisticated tools of their pyramid observatories, ensured that these crucial timings were never missed, maintaining the delicate balance between humanity and the powerful forces of the universe. The heavens dictated not just what to do, but when to do it, making every action a deliberate step within a grand cosmic dance. In ancient mythologies, the planets and stars were not simply distant points of light. They were identified directly with cosmic deities, powerful beings whose actions shape the world. The sun, as the life-giver, was often associated with supreme gods like Chichen Itza for the Maya, or Tonatiuh for the Aztecs, demanding reverence and sacrifice to ensure its daily journey across the sky. The moon, often linked with fertility and the feminine principle, guided agricultural cycles and sometimes even warfare. Perhaps the most prominent example of a celestial body personified as a deity is the planet Venus, known to the Maya as Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl in other Mesoamerican cultures. The meticulously tracked cycles of Venus, its appearance as both morning and evening star, its periods of disappearance, were interpreted as the journeys of a powerful feathered serpent deity, associated with war, sacrifice, and the renewal of time. Its heliacal rise was a potent omen, often signaling the auspicious moment for battle or a pivotal ceremonial event. Beyond the visible planets, constellations also held profound meaning, embodying ancestral spirits, mythical heroes, or fearsome beasts. The Pleiades, for instance, were a significant star cluster for many Mesoamerican cultures, sometimes associated with agricultural cycles or specific deities. Their heliacal rising or setting often marked critical periods in the calendrical year and ceremonial life. This deep integration of astronomy and theology meant that the heavens were a vast theological text, constantly unfolding before the eyes of the people. To study the stars was to commune with the gods, to understand their intentions, and to live in alignment with their cosmic plan. The knowledge held within the pyramids was not merely scientific, it was a sacred dialogue with the very forces that governed existence. The pyramids themselves transcended their function as mere astronomical instruments. They were regarded as symbolic sacred mountains, perceived as direct conduits between the terrestrial and divine realms. In Mesoamerican cosmology, mountains were often seen as places where the earth touched the sky, where powerful spiritual energies resided, and where the gods descended to interact with humanity. By meticulously constructing these colossal structures, the ancients were not simply building, they were recreating this sacred geography, shaping the landscape to mirror the cosmic order. The pyramid's base, rooted in the earth, connected to the underworld, the realm of ancestors and primordial forces. Its summit, reaching skyward, provided a direct pathway to the celestial gods, the sun, moon, and stars. Each step and level of a pyramid could symbolize ascent through different cosmic layers, a journey from the earthly to the divine. The temples atop these structures were not just places of worship, but thresholds where priests and rulers could engage in profound rituals, perform sacrifices, and receive divine prophecies. The specific alignments of these pyramids, pointing to the solstices, equinoxes, or significant stellar events, reinforced their role as cosmic antennae, designed to channel celestial energies directly into the heart of the city. They were the ultimate altars, solidifying the connection between humanity and the powerful, omnipresent forces of the cosmos, ensuring the continuous flow of life-giving energy from the heavens to the earth, making them not just symbols, but active participants in the sacred dance of existence. Central to Mesoamerican cosmologies was the overarching concept of cyclical time and cosmic renewal. Unlike linear Western thought, which often perceives time as a progression from a distinct beginning towards an eventual end, these ancient cultures embraced a profound understanding of time as a series of repeating cycles. The meticulous observations of the heavens, the intricate calendars, and the very architecture of their cities all reinforced this worldview. They believed that the universe, humanity, and all of creation moved through a grand sequence of births, deaths, and rebirths. Each era, each sun or age, was destined to reach its peak, experience a period of decline and catastrophe, and then be renewed, often through an act of divine intervention or a catastrophic reset. This belief in cosmic renewal was not a cause for despair, but a profound source of meaning. It taught resilience, the understanding that even in destruction there was the promise of a new beginning. The cyclical nature of the celestial bodies, the daily return of the sun, the monthly phases of the moon, the periodic reappearances of Venus and other planets were seen as tangible proof of this universal rhythm. The pyramids, meticulously aligned to these recurring events, became monuments to this enduring truth, stone reminders that order would always return, even after chaos. The rituals performed within and upon these structures were acts of participation in this cycle, designed to help facilitate renewal, to honor the gods of creation and destruction, and to ensure that the next age would dawn. It was a philosophy deeply embedded in their very identity, understanding that they were not merely living in time, but living as part of time's eternal, self-renewing dance. This cyclical understanding of existence shaped every aspect of their civilization, from their sacred beliefs to their very survival. The precise alignments and mathematical complexities embedded in their calendars and architectures were therefore not just scientific achievements. They were acts of profound spiritual devotion. The ancient American civilizations recognized that humanity was inextricably linked to the cosmos, and that a deep, reciprocal relationship existed between the heavens and the earth. To maintain this balance was the highest imperative, achieved through careful observation, intricate ritual, and the monumental creation of structures that stood as perpetual prayers in stone. The celestial cycles dictated not only the timing of crops, but also the destiny of kings, the success of battles, and the very health of the soul. It was a universe alive with meaning, and the pyramids were their profound attempt to listen, to understand, and to respond to the constant whispers of the stars. The Mayan long count, with its majestic sweep, provided a framework for understanding epochs of creation and dissolution, not just of human society, but of the very cosmos. Its ability to calculate periods stretching tens of thousands of years into the past and future speaks to a profound cosmological vision, far removed from a simple, short-term view of history. This was time as a living entity, an unfolding narrative of cosmic consciousness. The intricate interweaving of the long count with the 260-day Tzolk'in and the 365-day Harb calendars created a synchronized, self-repeating system where every day carried a unique signature of cosmic energies, influencing events on Earth. These calendrical systems were more than predictive tools. They were sacred maps, guiding humanity through the labyrinthine paths of destiny,
revealing the patterns of fate woven into the fabric of time itself. And it was these patterns,
these grand cosmic designs, that the pyramids were built to celebrate and reinforce. They were permanent markers, anchoring the fleeting passage of time to the enduring stone of the earth, connecting the ephemeral human experience to the eternal cycles of the universe. The precise shadow play on an equinox, the exact gleam of a star through a distant window. These were not just phenomena, but sacred affirmations, moments when the divine order became tangibly manifest on the human plane. The priest astronomers, through their deep knowledge and the tools of their sacred architecture, were the guardians of this cosmic wisdom, tasked with interpreting these messages and guiding their people in harmony with the celestial will. Their role was to ensure that the earthly realm remained attuned to the heavenly, that human actions resonated with the grand symphony of the cosmos. This was the ultimate purpose of their astronomical prowess, not mere prediction, but profound integration with the divine. Thus, the pyramids and their celestial alignments become more than just archaeological wonders. They are echoes of a belief system that saw no separation between science and spirituality, between the mundane and the divine. They are testaments to cultures that understood time not as a line, but as an ever-turning wheel, constantly bringing forth renewal, even after profound destruction. These stone mountains, rooted in the earth and reaching for the stars, were not just built in time, but built to embody time, to preserve the memory of cosmic order, and to remind future generations of their place within the great, unending cycles of the heavens. They stand as enduring messages from a past that understood the universe in a way we are only now beginning to fully appreciate. They compel us to ask if we too are part of such a grand cycle, and what ancient wisdom might still be speaking to us from these silent stone prophets. We have journeyed through the cosmic blueprints etched into the ancient American landscape, decoding the celestial messages embedded in their calendars and sacred beliefs. But how did these visions of the heavens translate into stone and mortar on such a colossal scale? How were these civilizations, without the technologies we deem essential, able to manifest their profound understanding of the cosmos into structures that defy our modern assumptions about ancient capabilities? It is here, in the realm of engineering and societal organization, that the ancient Americans present us with another layer of profound mystery. The construction of a single monumental pyramid, such as those that punctuate the plains of Teotihuacan or the jungles of the Maya heartland, was not merely an act of building. It was a grand orchestration of human will, an immense ballet of coordinated effort that stretched across decades, sometimes even centuries. Imagine not just thousands, but tens of thousands of individuals engaged in a sustained collective endeavor, their lives interwoven with the slow, deliberate rise of these sacred mountains of stone. This was not a task for a simple village or a loose collection of tribes. It speaks to a profound organizational capacity, a sophisticated hierarchy capable of mobilizing, feeding, housing, and directing a workforce on a scale that rivals many early industrial projects. What complex systems of management, what persuasive ideologies, or what sheer force of authority could inspire and maintain such an immense output of labor over generations? The pyramids stand as silent monuments not only to astronomical knowledge, but also to an extraordinary human capability for long-term planning and collective action. Consider the raw materials. The stone blocks, often limestone or basalt, were not simply found ready-made at the construction site. They had to be quarried, sometimes many miles away, from distant hills or riverbeds. Imagine the challenge of extracting multi-ton blocks from solid rock using only tools of stone, wood, and bone. What ingenious methods did they employ to split the rock, to leverage immense weights from the earth, and to shape them into manageable, if still colossal, pieces? We often picture simple hammers and chisels, but the scale of the task implies a far more sophisticated understanding of geology and mechanics. Once quarried, these massive stones then faced the arduous journey to their designated place. How were they transported across jungles, over rivers, or up steep inclines, sometimes for dozens of miles? Was it through a network of meticulously prepared log rollers, or perhaps by harnessing vast numbers of human laborers pulling with ropes? The sheer logistical puzzle of moving hundreds, even thousands, of such blocks across varied terrain, without the aid of wheels or draft animals in many regions, remains a powerful testament to their ingenuity. And once at the site, the challenge intensified. How were these multi-ton behemoths lifted, often hundreds of feet into the air, to form the upper tiers of towering pyramids? We have theories involving ramps and scaffolding, but the precision required to place each block, often into a perfectly interlocking fit, suggests a mastery of leverage and engineering that seems almost impossible for their time. But perhaps one of the most astonishing aspects of these ancient American structures is the breathtaking precision in their stone cutting, carving, and fitting of masonry. When we examine the intricate joints at sites like Machu Picchu or some Mayan temples, we find stones so perfectly matched that a razor blade cannot be inserted between them. This level of craftsmanship, achieved without the use of metal tools like iron or steel, forces us to question our assumptions. What instruments did they wield to carve such exact angles, such smooth surfaces, and such complex interlocking shapes? Some theories suggest the use of harder stones like obsidian, combined with abrasive sands and patient, persistent grinding. Others point to a deep intuitive understanding of the properties of different rock types. Yet the consistency of this precision across vast regions and centuries implies a widespread, highly refined technical skill, almost an artistic mastery of material. It is not merely a matter of brute force, but of an incredibly delicate and accurate hand, guided by a vision of perfect form. This meticulousness was not simply aesthetic, it was functional, ensuring stability against earthquakes and the ravages of time, and, critically, supporting the precise celestial alignments we have already explored. Building on the evidence of fine-tuning we saw earlier, the surveying techniques employed by these ancient cultures were nothing short of miraculous. To align a monumental structure like the Pyramid of the Sun at Teotihuacan to within fractions of a degree of true north, or to calibrate a pyramid's orientation to specific solstices and equinoxes, required an astronomical and geodetic understanding that still puzzles modern engineers. How did they establish true north with such accuracy without a compass, navigating solely by the stars? What sophisticated methods did they use to measure vast distances and angles across irregular terrain, to level immense construction platforms, and to ensure that an entire city plan adhered to a cosmic blueprint? It suggests a profound understanding of geometry, trigonometry, and perhaps even geodesy, centuries before these concepts were formally articulated in the Western world. Did they use plumblines, sightlines to distant markers, or perhaps a system of highly calibrated water levels? The persistent accuracy of these alignments, replicated across multiple sites, implies a standardized and widely practiced set of surveying principles. It speaks to a deep, practical application of their astronomical observations, bridging the gap between watching the sky and building the earth. Their pyramids were not just temples. They were vast, geodetic instruments calibrated to the very pulse of the cosmos. This profound mastery of engineering and celestial observation, passed down through generations, leads us to consider the hypothesis of inherited knowledge or accumulated expertise. It seems unlikely that such advanced techniques were invented from scratch by each new generation or each isolated community. Instead, the evidence points to a continuous tradition of knowledge, refined and expanded over vast stretches of time. Imagine a lineage of master builders and astronomer priests carefully transmitting their wisdom, their blueprints, and their sacred measuring techniques from elder to apprentice. This wasn't merely practical skill, it was a sacred trust, intertwined with their cosmology and their understanding of humanity's place in the universe. Such a continuity suggests a society that valued and preserved its intellectual capital, perhaps encoding it not just in oral traditions, but within the very fabric of their monumental architecture. These pyramids then become more than just buildings. They are textbooks in stone, carrying lessons across time, reminding us of a sustained, evolving body of knowledge that persisted through cultural shifts and environmental changes. The consistency of certain architectural motifs and astronomical alignments across different eras and civilizations in the Americas further supports this idea, hinting at a shared, perhaps even an originating, source of wisdom that rippled through millennia. Finally, we must acknowledge the complex societal and political structures necessary to sustain such long-term, resource-intensive construction endeavors. The sheer scale of these projects demands a highly organized society capable of producing agricultural surpluses to feed vast populations of non-farming laborers. It requires a stable political system, a centralized authority capable of commanding immense resources and maintaining peace over decades, or even centuries, to see a single pyramid project through to completion. What kind of leadership could inspire such devotion and sustained effort? Was it through divine kingship, charismatic religious authority, or a highly stratified social order with specialized artisans, engineers, and laborers. The sheer act of building these pyramids itself became a potent symbol of power, faith, and unity for the entire civilization. They served not just as cosmic observatories or sacred spaces, but as tangible expressions of collective identity, legitimizing the ruling elite and reinforcing the interconnectedness of their society with the celestial order. These structures are therefore a mirror, reflecting a civilization's deepest beliefs, its organizational genius, and its capacity to channel human energy into a monumental vision that transcended individual lives and reached for the stars themselves. The pyramids are not just stones arranged by ancient hands. They are the enduring testament to a complex interplay of power, devotion, and an almost incomprehensible technical skill, all working in concert to bridge the terrestrial and the cosmic. The precision of the American pyramids, their uncanny ability to chart the movements of the cosmos, compels us to ask an even deeper question. How did this knowledge emerge? Was it conceived in isolation, a sudden burst of genius, or does it whisper of something far older, perhaps even a shared heritage reaching across vast oceans and forgotten epochs? When we compare these monumental structures to those found in other corners of the ancient world, the resemblances are often too striking to dismiss as mere coincidence. Consider the pyramids themselves. From the towering ziggurats of Mesopotamia to the colossal structures of ancient Egypt, the pyramidal form appears again and again, thousands of miles apart, often bearing similar astronomical orientations. While the construction methods and specific materials differed, the underlying principle of a massive, geometrically precise structure pointing towards the heavens seems to be a recurring motif. Is it truly possible that cultures separated by such immense geographical and temporal distances independently arrived at such similar architectural solutions for sacred and observational purposes? Or could these be the lingering echoes of an older, more pervasive understanding, fragments of a universal blueprint for connecting with the cosmos? The idea suggests a tapestry of ancient wisdom, woven with threads that stretched across continents, a connection that challenges the conventional understanding of isolated cultural development. This unsettling possibility leads us to ponder the concept of lost ages. Earlier, more advanced civilizations whose wisdom may have profoundly influenced subsequent cultures. Mainstream archaeology often paints a picture of linear progression, a steady climb from rudimentary hunter-gatherer societies to the first cities. Yet, the sudden appearance of complex astronomical knowledge and sophisticated engineering in places like Mesoamerica, seemingly without a long preparatory phase, hints at something else. It is as though the builders inherited a profound legacy, building on foundations of understanding that preceded them. Perhaps these advanced insights into celestial mechanics and large-scale construction were not invented ex nihilo by the Maya or the builders of Teotihuacan, but were rather passed down from an even earlier, now forgotten civilization, a source of deep time wisdom that shaped their cosmology and informed their architectural ambition. If such cultures existed, their physical traces may be buried deep, erased by geological shifts or submerged beneath rising seas, leaving only their intellectual footprint for later generations to rediscover. The geological record, as we know, carries reminders of immense shifts. What if human civilizations were also caught in these cycles, with advanced knowledge periodically lost and then slowly, painstakingly reassembled? The American pyramids, with their intricate celestial alignments and masterful engineering, may therefore represent not initial breakthroughs but rather a reawakening, a powerful re-expression of a science that had once been understood and then largely forgotten. The sheer scale of these projects and the embedded astronomical precision demand a depth of sustained observation and computational understanding that seems to emerge with surprising speed in the archaeological record. This implies a continuity of knowledge, perhaps oral traditions or symbolic representations, that endured through periods of profound disruption. Beyond the pyramids, other anomalous sites offer tantalizing clues that defy easy explanation. Consider the Nazca lines in Peru, vast geoglyphs etched into the desert floor, some stretching for miles. These immense designs, visible in their entirety only from high above, depict animals, plants, and geometric patterns. While some interpret them as pathways or ritualistic markings, others propose a compelling celestial interpretation. The precise alignments of certain lines with astronomical points, solstices, lunar phases, or the rising and setting of specific stars suggest that these colossal desert drawings functioned as another form of astronomical calendar or observatory, a grand terrestrial map mirroring the heavens. Who were these people, and what advanced perspective allowed them to conceive and execute such massive, sky-oriented art? How did they survey and plan on a scale that transcended immediate human perspective, unless they possessed an understanding that reached far beyond the immediate horizon? The Nazca lines are not alone. Across the Americas, other less understood ancient markers hint at similar celestial connections. Stone circles, petroglyphs, and even carefully aligned pathways sometimes point to specific astronomical events, suggesting a pervasive fascination with and precise tracking of the sky. These sites are often isolated, their purpose mysterious, yet they share the common thread of sophisticated celestial awareness. They stand as fragments, puzzle pieces scattered across a vast landscape, each one hinting at a larger, coherent picture that remains just beyond our grasp. The collective evidence from these enigmatic sites, along with the pyramids, forces us to confront the possibility that our current understanding of ancient American societies, and indeed global antiquity, is incomplete, resting on a limited set of discoveries and interpretations. It is a humbling thought. How much of this ancient world remains undiscovered, submerged or simply misinterpreted by modern archaeology? Vast swathes of the Amazon rainforest, for instance, are only now beginning to reveal evidence of complex ancient societies that were once thought impossible in such environments. Beneath the surging tides of our oceans, entire coastlines, once fertile lands teeming with life and perhaps civilization, now lie hidden, swallowed by the rising waters at the end of the last ice age. If ancient settlements mirrored modern patterns, many would have been coastal, and their traces now rest beneath the waves awaiting discovery. What other structures, what other astronomical markers, what other evidence of profound knowledge lies beneath layers of earth, ice, or sea, unseen or unrecognized? Our instruments are only beginning to probe these silent depths, and each new scan or excavation carries the potential to rewrite vast chapters of human history. The silence of the deep past, much like an unread book, does not necessarily mean an absence of content, but rather a waiting, a challenge for us to seek beyond the familiar. Where did this advanced knowledge truly originate? Was it purely intuitive observation, a slow accumulation of wisdom gathered over millennia by patient sky watchers? While the human capacity for observation is undeniable, the sheer precision embedded in these structures, the mathematical exactitude of their alignments, suggests something more than simple intuition. It speaks of a formalized science, a deep theoretical understanding that enabled prediction and complex engineering. Was it then long-term accumulated wisdom, passed down through countless generations, refined and perfected until it became an integral part of their cultural fabric? This hypothesis carries weight, suggesting a continuous intellectual lineage, an unbroken chain of stargazers and builders who meticulously recorded and transmitted their findings. The cyclical nature of Mesoamerican calendars, their emphasis on the periodic return of celestial events, certainly supports the idea of enduring long-term observation. Yet, we must also consider the unsettling possibility of external influences. This does not necessarily imply visitors from other worlds, but rather challenges the notion of strictly isolated development. Could there have been transoceanic cultural connections, Perhaps forgotten voyages or migrations that carried fundamental astronomical principles or architectural ideas from one continent to another in the distant past. The very idea that certain first discoveries in ancient America, such as the precise calculation of planetary cycles or the engineering principles for massive stone construction, were, in fact, rediscoveries of forgotten wisdom, adds another layer of complexity to our understanding. It suggests that humanity's journey through time might be less a straight line of progress and more a repeating rhythm of loss and reawakening, each new civilization building upon the faint, sometimes misinterpreted memories of those that came before. The sophisticated astronomical and engineering feats embedded in the American pyramids may not be mere beginnings, but rather a powerful testament to a cyclical journey of human intellect, a re-emergence of knowledge that once flowed across a more interconnected, albeit now forgotten, ancient world. We have journeyed through the intricate landscapes of ancient America, tracing the indelible marks of civilizations that saw the cosmos not just as a distant spectacle, but as the very blueprint of existence. We have seen how their monumental structures, rising from the earth, served as precise instruments charting the sun's journey, the moon's elusive cycles, and the delicate dance of planets and stars. But to view these achievements in isolation as mere feats of astronomy or engineering would be to miss the profound tapestry they wove. For the Maya, the Aztec, the peoples of Teotihuacan and countless others, the universe was a living entity, a celestial clockwork whose every tick resonated through the earthly realm. This was a synthesis, deeply felt and meticulously applied. Their astronomical knowledge was not a sterile academic pursuit, but a living, breathing component of their spiritual worldview. Every calculation, every precise alignment, every carved symbol was a prayer in stone, an offering to the divine forces that governed the celestial spheres. The engineering prowess we have marveled at, the quarrying of colossal stones, their transport across impossible distances, the uncanny precision of their cuts, and the exactitude of their placement, was not born of brute force alone, but of an unyielding commitment to replicating cosmic order on Earth. The pyramid was not simply a building, it was a sacred mountain, a conduit between humanity and the heavens, a physical manifestation of their understanding of the universe. This profound integration of science, spirituality, and societal structure compels us to reassess these cultures. For too long, the prevailing narrative cast them as primitive, as peoples whose understanding of the world was rudimentary, whose technology was simple. Yet, the evidence etched into the stone and aligned with the sky paints a radically different picture. These were sophisticated scientific societies driven by a cosmic curiosity and a spiritual imperative that led them to achieve wonders we are only now beginning to fully appreciate. Their cities were not haphazard settlements, but meticulously planned cosmic maps. Their calendars were not mere reckonings of days, but complex algorithms tracking vast stretches of time and celestial events with breathtaking accuracy. They were, in essence, cosmic societies, building their world in direct conversation with the stars. The structures they left behind, from the grand plazas to the smallest carved glyph, reveal a people deeply attuned to the rhythms of the universe, constructing not just monuments, but enduring testaments to a worldview that sought harmony with the cosmos. This was a form of empirical science, honed over millennia, combined with a spiritual depth that modern thought often struggles to reconcile. They observed, they recorded, they predicted, and they built, all within a framework where the earthly and the celestial were inextricably linked. Their meticulous records of celestial phenomena, their understanding of cyclical time, and their ability to encode this knowledge into architecture demonstrate an intellectual
rigor that challenges any notion of them as less
advanced. Such discoveries offer a humbling perspective on the true extent of human ingenuity across deep time. We, in our modern age, often perceive our own scientific and technological advancements as unique, as the apex of human capability. Yet these ancient American civilizations, working without metal tools, without the wheel, without our modern computational power, managed to decode celestial mechanics and embed that wisdom into structures that have stood for millennia. This prompts us to consider the boundless capacity of the human mind, not just in our own era, but in all epochs. It reveals that the pursuit of knowledge, the drive to understand our place in the cosmos, is a fundamental and enduring human characteristic, one that has manifested in diverse and astonishing ways across the span of recorded and unrecorded history. It reminds us that innovation is not a linear march, but a dynamic, often cyclical process. What we might consider foundational scientific principles were clearly understood and applied by these cultures thousands of years before they were formally codified in other parts of the world. This pushes the boundaries of our historical imagination, urging us to recognize the profound and often understated brilliance of past peoples. Their legacy is not just one of impressive stone, but of intellect, creativity, and persistent observation, a testament to what humanity is capable of when driven by a collective purpose and a reverence for the natural world, particularly the celestial sphere. Yet despite the leaps in our understanding, an acknowledgement of the ongoing quest to decipher remaining mysteries and fragmented evidence is crucial. For all that we have uncovered, much remains hidden. Some alignments still whisper secrets we cannot fully translate. Entire sections of their vast libraries of knowledge, perhaps recorded on perishable materials, have vanished, leaving gaps in our comprehension. We stand before these pyramids, these cosmic calculators, often like observers reading a profound text in a language we are still learning. The interpretations are ongoing, subject to new discoveries, fresh perspectives, and increasingly sophisticated analytical tools. Submerged cities, unexcavated ruins, and misinterpreted artifacts may still hold keys to a deeper understanding of their cosmological sciences and engineering genius. The very soil and jungle that reclaimed so many of their urban centers may yet guard further revelations, awaiting the patient archaeologist or the discerning eye of a new generation of scholars. This is not a finished story, but an unfolding narrative, a continuous dialogue between our present curiosity and their enduring legacy. Each new piece of evidence, each re-evaluation of an existing site, refines our understanding, slowly bringing into sharper focus the intricate details of their cosmic worldview. The quest is unending, a testament to the depth of what they built and the enduring power of their message. Ultimately, these pyramids stand as enduring cosmic messages, testaments to a deep understanding of the universe, patiently awaiting full comprehension. They are not merely ruins of a bygone era, but deliberate transmissions across time, encoded with the wisdom of the ancients. They remind us that the sky above us is not just empty space, but a canvas of profound meaning, a source of knowledge that inspired entire civilizations to reach for the sublime. The precision of their alignments, the symbolism of their forms, and the sheer effort invested in their creation all speak to a profound reverence for cosmic order and a desire to connect human existence with the grander cycles of the
Heavens, these structures urge us to look beyond the immediate,
to consider time in vast, sweeping arcs, and to recognize the interconnectedness of all things, from the smallest human endeavor to the furthest star. They are a universal language, spoken in stone and celestial geometry, offering insights into humanity's enduring fascination with the night sky. Their message transcends cultural boundaries, appealing to a fundamental human yearning to understand our place in the vastness of creation. They are a silent invitation to contemplation, to consider what wisdom they might still hold for us, if only we learn to listen more intently to their ancient whispers. This leads to a powerful philosophical idea, that ancient wisdom encoded in these alignments may hold keys for our future understanding of our place in the cosmos. In an age where our own technological prowess often distances us from the natural world, these pyramids remind us of a time when humanity was intimately connected to celestial rhythms. Their integration of observation with spirituality, of precise measurement with profound meaning, suggests a holistic approach to knowledge that we might do well to reconsider. Perhaps the answers to some of our most pressing questions about sustainability, about our relationship with nature, about our purpose, lie not solely in pushing forward, but also in looking back, in rediscovering the profound insights of those who built their entire societies in harmony with the cosmos. They represent a different path to understanding, one that weds the scientific and the sacred, the empirical and the ethereal. As we navigate the complexities of our own future, confronting challenges of planetary scale, the wisdom embedded in these structures might offer a vital perspective, that human flourishing is inextricably linked to understanding and honoring the larger cosmic order. The ancient American pyramids, therefore, are more than historical relics. They are enduring guides whispering across millennia, reminding us that the universe holds profound truths, and that listening to its ancient rhythms, as our ancestors did, may illuminate our own path forward, not just on Earth, but within the grand eternal dance of the stars.